Hello, and welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valsarpator, and I love eating spring rolls for dinner after a long day. I'm here with my co-host, T.
Hi guys, I'm T, and I love sitting by the ocean and drinking a giant milkshake while fighting off seagulls.
Sounds like a dream, honestly.
I mean, it is. Living the life, guys.
We're here with our other co-host today, DokiDokiBunBun.
Woo! I am DokiDokiBunBun, and I love when the manga cover has a brunette and a blonde woman on it.
So, like,
How
every
on topic.
Yuri manga ever.
Every manga I own ever.
Honestly, yes. So, great segue, because to T's point today, our topic is about Yuri. And so the three of us have all picked out either some of our favorites or just recent Yuri manga that we've read. And so I think since DokiDokiBunBun is the most excited about this, I'm going to have her kick it off with one of hers. So she'll tell you the name and read you the synopsis on the back and why she likes it.
No pressure. I definitely prepared for this. Boom. We're going to start with my favorite, I'm in love with the Villainess. Anyone who's heard any other episode has heard me mention it. Probably at least twice. The synopsis, romancing the rival. When corporate worker Rei Ohashi finds herself reborn as the protagonist of her favorite dating sim, it's the perfect opportunity to do what she's always wanted. What we've always wanted. Seduce the Villainess. In her previous life, had no interest in the Prince games, had to offer, she only had eyes for Claire Francois, her nemesis. Now armed with her extensive knowledge of the game and her undying love for Claire, will Rei finally be able to win over the woman of her dreams?
Wait, this is a Villainess where, like, and her name is also Claire? I feel like Claire's
Yes.
Okay, alright.
It's everything you've ever wanted out of a isekai. Everything. You're not born as the Villainess, but you get to date the Villainess. Full stop.
I was going to say, is that the new trend? Like, my life as a villainess.
Yes.
I'm going to romance this villainess.
Villainess isekai is hot right now. It is
Villainess
popular.
Isekai, so hot right now.
It's so hot right now. It's in. It's cool. It's hip. No, but what's really great about this one is that, like, it follows the trope of normal, like, otome isekai, but it is incredibly wholesome and, like, sweet and precious and pure. It also doesn't beat around the bush, so while it's a long burn, there's no, like, ooh, are they lesbians? It is very much like, hey, yo, girl, I'm gonna wife you up. We're gonna get married, we're gonna fall in love, and get used to it. They do not joke around, they are ready to go. And I love that. I love that it doesn't, like, try to be something else. It just is a Yuri.
Mm-hmm. Explicit lesbians.
Without being explicit.
No, being explicit, yeah. Innocent,
Yeah.
explicit lesbians.
Inclusive. Not explicit in that way. Lesbians.
Real life lesbians.
Real life,
Yeah.
not real European otome isekai lesbian.
They're not real?
Spoiler!
Always with the European vibes, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
That was actually, we talked about at the Gen Con, I specifically brought up that unlike otome isekai, where it always takes place in Europe, not all otome games take place in Europe.
just most of them.
No, not even most of them.
What
But
a
no, this
twist.
one's really sweet. It's super cute.
So
We
you
love
said
to
it's a
see it.
slow burn. How many... Is it ongoing?
Yes. It is ongoing.
Ooh,
Please don't
okay.
ask me how many volumes there are. I could not tell you without Googling it.
How many volumes are there currently?
More than 2. I can tell you that much. I do not know for this one. There are quite a few. It's been out for a while. There is an anime for it that is both subbed and dubbed, although some people do have very strong feelings about the dub of this one. But the anime itself is really cute and does follow very strictly to the story so far in the manga.
Yay,
That's
okay,
good.
and then, so for the people that have joined the live, one more time, what was the name of that one?
I'm in love with the Villainess.
Nice, that one, I'm gonna borrow that one from you at some point.
You should. Don't hurt it, though. It's a precious treasure of mine.
Okay, I won't treat it like the mangas that I've borrowed from you.
You gotta, like, laminate it. You gotta seal it, put it in a hamster ball, and then send it to her.
It's gonna come
won't
back.
use like socks as bookmarks. I'll use like real bookmarks on it.
Whoa! I thought you were gonna use Egg Sando as a bookmark this time.
Egg sandos don't last more than a day in my home. All right, T. What is your pick?
So my first pick is Donuts Under the Crescent Moon.
I've heard about this one. Yes.
Yeah, I was like looking up. So I do enjoy Yuri manga and anime, but it's been a minute since I was like, I need to like dive into this. I need to find something good. So I was like, what is the current good stuff? And this one was highly recommended, so I picked this one first. They are both adults, which, you know, I'm very into. They both work. And that's going to be a theme with the majority of my books. 3 out of 4 of them, they are like office girlies.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
They
so
work.
Relatable.
They work. And also a trend with mine, you're going to see a lot of pink-haired girls with a lot of dark-haired girls.
Yep.
So I am bad with names, as everyone knows, as the last time Valsarpator and I did a manga review, and please forgive me. So Uno throws herself into makeup, fashion, and falling in love, hoping that it will make her seem normal to the other people at her job, and that is pink hair. But no matter how hard she tries, she's a self-doubting mess inside, and her attempts at normal romance with men just keep failing. When she starts to think she might be alone forever, a new normal presents itself in the form of her relationship with Satoyu? We'll go with that. A level-headed woman who works at her company. It starts as respect and then becomes far more intimate. So far in Volume 1, they just become, like, really close friends.
History will say they were the best of friends.
Yeah, but, like, so her little sister is already aware that something is happening because they keep, like, talking about each other, and she ends up inviting her over to their house, and the little sister is, like, picking up the vibes. So the little high school sister is like, hey, you should invite her over frequently for dinner. No reason.
What a wingman.
Yeah, her sister is like the hope girl in this situation. She picks up on it really fast. And I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed this one. I did feel really bad for her because she, like, it opens with her just basically being like, all right, I have to put on my face for the day. I have to put on the character of me to go out in public. And, like, she studies all these magazines and stuff so she knows how to look and how to act and things like that. And every time she tries to go on a date with a guy, there's one guy who she's like, this guy is absolutely perfect. There's no reason I shouldn't be in love with him. I don't feel anything. I feel nothing for this man. And she's like, it's happening again. And her friends are always trying to find somebody for her. And throughout the course of the first volume, at least, she's kind of learning to become her own person. So she's not, like, instantly falling in love. She's, like, trying to fall in love with herself first, which I think is really important.
Yes.
She's not quite there by the end of the first volume, but you can see she's at least moving in the right direction, and there's kind of, like, little sparks starting between them, but they're not kind of aware of it yet, which was cute. I enjoy the beginnings of romance. That's my favorite thing.
It sounds so relatable, and, like, I feel like it gives it, compared to, especially, I feel like, to mine, it gives, like, such a real outlook on, like, relationships as an adult, especially people who may not know what their sexuality is and things like that. That's really great.
Mm-hmm. It was really sweet to see. And this one, it is completed. It apparently only has 4 volumes, so it's not, super long read. And this one wasn't, like, super thick or anything. Like, I read this in less than a day. It was a quick and enjoyable read.
Ooh, okay, good. Like I said, I've been seeing that one from some mutuals on TikTok, and, like, it's been pretty highly recommended. So I love having these chats with you guys, too, because then I also get recommendations for things to read.
Right?
I'm taking notes right now, so I can go out and buy whatever you guys show.
Also, you don't have to buy everything. I mean, please support your local store. This is the only one that I bought out of the 4 that I read. Everybody else came from my bestie, the library.
Yay! Support your local libraries. Hell yes.
The majority of my books came from my local library, and even if they didn't have it in my library itself, like within my county, my state goes by county, I was able to request it from outside the county, and it came in like less than 2 days.
Oh, that's really nice. That's so convenient.
I love that. I love library perks.
And 2 of them that I read were digital, so they were on, if your library has Hoopla, I have access to manga on there.
It is so hard for me to read, like, not outside of the Shonen Jump app. Like, I read a lot in the Shonen Jump app. I think it's very easy to use. But I found that, like, other reading apps are, like, harder for me to use. And it makes it harder for me to read a lot.
I haven't read on the Shonen Jump app, but this one, the Hoopla app isn't bad, at least for me. So if I have trouble reading a certain panel, if you double-click on the specific panel, it'll enlarge just that panel so you can read what's in it. And then if you swipe, it'll take you to the next panel on that page, where you can just double-tap again and it'll back out to the whole page.
Oh,
that's
interesting.
Really nice for, I mean, not me personally, but anyone with old lady eyes. Like, I could see that being really useful. Again, that doesn't help me, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading them on my phone, and I just got the app on our tablet, so now I'll be able to read bigger. But it was nice when, you know, I was at the park with my son, and he was doing his thing. I could just pop open my phone real quick, and I was like, oh, I can read a couple pages while he's, you know, playing on the slide.
That's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Neato. Okay. I'm chronically on Hoopla as well, but usually just for audiobooks. And I will say,
you're getting a phone call.
Okay. I will say that I noticed that, there was an anime movie that came out, and they recently came out with, like, the novel, like, a light novel version of it. Mm-hmm. And now that light novel, I think it's all Yen Press, they have, like, an audiobook version of it as well.
Oh,
wow.
That's cool.
And so I'm waiting for my next turn at book club so that I can include that one as one of my suggestions, because I do want to read it, and now that it's an audiobook, I'm like, yes, dope. I'm about to listen to that book.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize they did audiobooks of light novels. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they're still books, but I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. That's awesome.
It was probably one of the ones that's like, maybe it was Suzume, or like one of those, like, one of the more recent anime movies that have come out.
That's still cool.
Yes, very cool. Okay, so for my pick, I'm going to do the latest 2 that I've read, that I've actually done TikToks about, but for anyone that listens to the podcast that isn't on our TikTok, or anyone that's on the live, maybe they're not familiar. So I recently read Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord. This one was
I saw your review. That looked really good.
Mm-hmm. This one was actually recommended by, again, another mutual on TikTok, and I'll probably tag her later. This is a Yen Press print. It's rated T for teen. It's wholesome. Our main character is open. It kind of starts off where she and her girlfriend broke up. They lived together, and she's like, finally, like, all right, I'm going to go on my own. I'm going to do my own thing. It's time for me to be independent. And so she's, like, looking around for somewhere to live. She finds a place, and, like, the house is perfect. It's one of those, like, oh, this house is too good to be true. What's the catch, right? But she does it. She's like, okay, nothing wrong here. She moves in. She's, like, unpacking boxes, and then she, like, hears something going on upstairs, and she's like, are there, like, critters in here? Like, what's going on? She goes upstairs to find her landlord just, like, vibing up there. And she's like, what is going on? And she's like, oh, I'm your live-in landlord. Like, I also live here. But don't worry. Like, I'm pretty much just going to vibe here in the attic the whole time. You won't even see me, honestly.
Don't worry.
Like, pretend I'm not even here.
Classic.
She's like she's like the soot sprites in Totoro. Like, just don't come up in the attic. Don't look in the shadows.
You see me? No, you didn't.
It's fine. I'm the house cryptid.
So, what I didn't mention in the TikTok video that I regret not mentioning, but basically, so the main character, she is a manga editor, and either one of her friends or one of the folks that she's editing for, that she's very close with, is obsessed with idols. And meanwhile, like, a side story that's kind of going on is, like in the news, like, the TV's playing in the background, there's an idol group that, like, lost its lead recently, right? So then, it's not so obvious. Like, her hair, the landlord's hair, blonde. The idol's hair, black. So, very different. It couldn't possibly be her. It's her, right?
Of course.
I'm shocked.
Wow. Who would have
What a
known? So
boozle.
she's not super into idols, so it really didn't click with her when she first met the landlord. On top of the fact that, like, the persona of the landlord when she was an idol was very different. It was, like, very clean cut, and the landlord herself is kind of like goofy, outgoing, clumsy, southern accent sort of thing. So it's a totally different persona that she was as an idol. And the landlord doesn't even, or the renter doesn't even realize until later that she was the idol. But she goes into the, like, well, why are you out here? Like, what's going on? And she's got the very, like, I can fix her, like, mindset about the girl's emotions. But, like, I want to say, like, in a healthy way, because the girl kind of ran away from the spotlight because of a stalker situation. And so she just got, like, afraid to leave the house, and that's why she's like, no, I'm going to be in the attic the whole time, you're never going to see me, because she was getting kind of hermity. And so she is like, we can start going out together so that you feel safe, and I'll be with you, and we'll go do these things so that you can start enjoying your life again. So, very sweet. There's 2 volumes out right now. I've read both of them. Again, there hasn't been, like, direct romance yet, but, like, they did, like, a dinner party with some other friends, and the other friends there were like, romance? You guys, and you kind of see their eyes open to it a little bit at the end of the second volume. So I really like this one. I'm going to keep reading it. It's fun and cute.
We can just trade that off. I'll give you the Villainess one. You give me that one.
Yeah.
We'll use an egg sando as a bookmark, but that's fine. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say is like a currency. Like, I give you book and egg sando. You give me book and...
Whoa. Hey,
Shrimp sando.
I have so many of Valsarpator's manga in my closet right now. I cannot tell you how many eggs it would take to make the sandos to pay for this amount of manga.
Well, that's what that's what the sandwiches are starting for, because you have so many of them, so you're like, please forget I have them.
You saw nothing.
The worst part is you've had some of my mangas for so long. I'm not, like faulting you or calling you out or anything. But, like, I have genuinely forgotten, like, what manga I own.
Oh, no.
I have had many of them for over a year. Not exaggerating. We're hitting the year anniversary next month.
Aw. It's my manga's anniversary for being at your house.
Kidnapped.
I'm helping because you think you don't have any, so you're like, I have to buy so much more manga. You're welcome.
It's been more than a year, because they moved with you here, and then you moved since you've been here, and they moved with you to your new place as well.
I think the worst part, though, is that I continue to acquire. I return very few, but I get more all the time. Much to my fiance's dismay.
Every time she comes over, I'm like, I just read this, it's so good, and she, like, grabs it and sneaks it and hides it in her bag, and then he's like,
he finds them. Yeah.
She's like, mind your business.
You didn't see anything. Close your eyes.
It's just weed. Yeah, it's just weed.
There's nothing to see here. All
Don't
right.
look too close.
Hey, Doki, what you got as your second?
I got spookiness. That's what I got. Spooky Yuri.
No.
Spooky Yuri.
Oh, I've seen that. What's that one called?
It's called This Monster Wants to Eat Me.
Yes!
You sent it to me, T.
Yes. Okay,
This one is
I
so
thought that
hot
looked
right
familiar.
now. I am so excited about this one.
It's hot. It's happening.
It is.
Everyone's reading it. Everyone's doing it.
No, yeah. T sent it to me on TikTok. I ordered it immediately. Like, the second I watched it, before I even responded to you, ordered it, and then read it on the plane to Japan.
You're going home with me.
Had to have it. I've already pre-ordered the second. I never pre-order manga. I pre-ordered this one.
Ooh, okay, writing it down. It's somewhere in the bowels of my TikTok, which is a mess, so writing it down.
Don't worry, you can always go reference our podcast later if you're ever wondering about the manga that we talk
I can go back to the podcast. It's like a digital memory for me. I'm lucky.
You'll be super shocked to see, but we have a blonde hair girl and a dark hair girl. We're all very shocked. This is also T for Teen, also Yen Press. Everyone's shocked to hear it. So this one is about Hinako, this lovely high school girl right here. She's had a rough go of it. I will say, for anyone who, as a quick little announcement, for anyone who has issues with, like, depression or anything mental health related, family trauma, loss of family, things like that, definitely some warnings and heads up for this one. It is quite heavy. So just make sure you're in a good mind space, you're in a safe space before reading it, and reach out if you need help. But so Hinako, rough go of it, she lost her whole family, very, very tough, very sad, and she basically has, like, she's dead inside. She has nothing, like, keeping her going. She's very empty, very sad, very lonely, and she, like, draws in, much like a trope I feel like we see pretty frequent in stuff recently, but she's, like, drawing in all these monsters. They want to eat her. Apparently she smells really good, but not like, hey girl, like, delicious good. And so a lot of these monsters want to eat her, but then this chick, who definitely has a name, and I definitely know it, it starts with an S.
Yeah,
I can tell you that much.
Probably, for
it's
sure.
Shiori. I got it.
There it is, yeah.
I didn't check Google.
No.
Why would you?
No, why would you?
So Shiori shows up and is like, yo, monsters, get away. That's my girl. But she doesn't want to smooch her. She wants to eat her.
Damn it.
But, no, I hate when that happens. But she's like, I'm not going to eat you yet because you're not ripe. You're going to get even better. You're going to taste better when you get a little older. She prefers her food at an older age, I guess. I don't know.
Aged like a fine wine.
So we love an age-respecting queen, you know?
She was really like, you be looking like a snack girl.
No,
like,
but that's kind
snack.
of the whole vibe of this thing. Is she's like leaning in and getting real close and being like, hey, and then she's like, delicious. And you're like, well, which type of, what's
going on here? Mixed signals, what's happening?
The whole vibe is like, are you trying to kiss me or kill me? I cannot tell.
I kind of like that. It's cute.
It's spicy. So far, the vibe I'm getting from it, I do think there's going to be a lot of character growth from our monster, because, I mean, she is a monster. Like, they don't sugarcoat it. Like, she eats kids. But she so far seems like she's going to have a lot of room for, like, growth and, like, humanizing character development. But I can say from the first volume, I genuinely do not know if the series will end with them falling in love or her being eaten.
I like that, though.
I really like that.
It feels spicy, and there's, like, she's, like, it's so weird, because on one hand, it's like, the girl's like, I'm gonna eat you, and she's like, hurry up, do it. Why do we have to wait? Let's go right now. But on the other hand, Shiori's like, oh, you have trauma and you're afraid of large crowds? Let's go to the festival so you can heal from your trauma. Because she's like, you'll taste better if you're happy. It's very conflicting. I have such mixed feelings. I cannot wait for the next one.
I'm here for that.
I'm gonna make you do the thing that you hate to do, or maybe you don't care. I want you to Google it, because now I'm curious, like, because you said that it's ongoing. I'm wondering how much is already out, like, in Japanese, like, if it's already finished and it's just in the process of being translated, or, like, how... Yeah, because that's how excited I am to read this.
Fair. Like, I completely understand.
Yeah.
In Japanese.
Again, so what was the full name of this one?
This monster wants to eat me.
While you look that up, we can always circle back to it, right?
That'd be great.
So, in the meantime, T, what is your next pick?
So there's a sticky note on it, so you can't tell which library I got it from. But this is, guess what? Another yen press, but this one's older teen. This one is, she loves to cook and she loves to eat.
This one is also very hot right now.
Oh my gosh, I understand why. It was so cute. So I've only read the first volume. There are 5 volumes and it's still going. So it's not done yet. But I'm just gonna point to these galleys. So of course we've got another pinkish haired gal and a black haired gal.
Classic. We love it.
So our girlie here with the pink hair, she's like an amateur chef, and she does things like on social media. She has like a small account, and she's like, hey, look at this meal that I made. And she wants to start doing more grandiose things, but she moved to the town that she currently lives in pretty like recently and doesn't really know anyone there. And her family is like kind of far away, so she can't really cook like large meals because she really hasn't made any friends yet. And she really wants to expand her cooking abilities, but she's like, I don't eat a lot. I have kind of a sensitive stomach. I'm trying to like not kill myself while trying to make this really cool food. And so she feels really limited. And then Homie over here is her neighbor that lives 2 houses down, and girl can put it away respectively. She bought herself a full like KFC Christmas meal to eat by herself. Then there's like another scene where she goes out to eat with some coworkers, comes home, and homegirl's like, hey, I have leftovers. Do you want some? So girly pop eats more. And I love that for her because that's the dream. So she also lives alone. And from the first book, you find out she's not really close to her family. Like they're talking about holiday plans, and she's like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here. So she either is like, you know, going out with coworkers because it's what's expected of her and hanging out with them, or she's just home and relaxing. And she ends up basically becoming her food guinea pig. And she's like, hey, I cooked like this really big meal I don't want to impose, but do you want to share with me? Like, I wanted to make all this food and I don't have anyone to eat it with. When secretly she's like, I remember seeing you eating that freaking feast by yourself, girl. Can you help me finish this? And absolutely loves food. Like, she has no dietary restrictions, so this girl is so excited because she finally gets to cook whatever she wants.
Absolute tank.
And again, there's no like real romance here yet. This is kind of like 2 girls who really need a friend kind of finding a friend at first, but then it's going to turn into some romance from what I understand.
Aww.
But it's really sweet. Like, she mentions that, oh, there's this really cheap farmer's market that I know of one day when we're hanging out. We should go there. And she's like, I want to impress my friend. I don't know how to get dressed up anymore. Like, I don't go places. And she dresses really cute for this, like, girly pop outing. And she's just wearing, like, a hoodie and some jeans. And she's like, we're going to the market. And she's just so impressed by this market and everything. And it's just them getting kind of close to each other. And I feel like we know more about her presently, but I get the feeling as this goes on, we're going to find out more about our other girl. And the food scenes are like, they show the food and they really like respect it. They're like, this is drawn really beautifully. You get to actually see the, like, okay, this is just a regular little ice cream, right? But it looks so cute and so real.
Yeah.
And then it shows Miss Girl just like enjoying this food. Like the next couple panels are just her being like, yes. And as a girl who loves to eat, I was so hungry reading this. Like, I finished it this morning in bed because I didn't have to get up yet. And I was like, oh, I have time before I have to get my son. And I finished this book, and I was like, and now I'm ready for breakfast.
Oh my gosh.
So don't eat on empty stomach.
Don't eat the
really
book on an empty
it.
stomach.
Yeah, don't eat book.
Dang it.
Full stop, don't eat book.
Don't eat book on empty stomach. We'll make
My
tummy
whole
upsetty
diet.
spaghetti.
We are bookworms, but not like that.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, if Doki's going to keep hiding egg sandos in my manga, I have no choice but to eat the whole thing.
You might get a little treat.
I'm helping you. You're welcome. The thanks I get.
All right. Gosh, my butt's stuck to my chair. Okay, so yeah, again, that one has been super hot. Like I said, a lot of our mutuals on TikTok and stuff have also recommended that one, T. So it's funny that you grabbed that one as well. We're like going through all like the current like popular like hit in Yuri mangas. My next one, I'm gonna have Doki be my Vanna White.
I'd be delighted. Thought you'd never ask.
So this one that I'm going to talk about next is I Don't Know Which Is Love. Ta-da! Okay, so this one also is becoming very popular on TikTok now, not to brag, but it is...
Humble brag.
Humble brag. It is a Yuri So it's got a female lead and all female love interests. It's got 5 different love interests. And the gimmick with this one, because there's usually a gimmick with harems, I feel like, right? This one is that all of her love interests are obsessed with her, but only like one specific, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like trait,
like aspect of her personality.
Like a sense.
Yeah, like senses. Like they're each a different sense. So
okay.
One is obsessed with like how soft her skin is.
Oh, that's fun.
And honestly, she's the least creepy one. I know that one sounds the most creepy, but it's not.
I disagree.
No, I feel like smell and taste, like...
Okay, so I'm like kind of trying to remember the order that they're introduced. The next one is obsessed with her voice, the way that she sounds.
Okay.
That one I would say is the least creepy towards her. Next one, I'm probably going to do them in the wrong order. Yeah, so the next one is obsessed with the way that she tastes. So there's like a flirty harlot in the theater program at the school, and is like known for kissing everyone. But we find out it's because she likes the way people taste, like kissing them and stuff. So
besties.
The girls who get it.
The girls who don't.
And it's so funny because, like, at some point, this girl's, like, trying to go a step further with the main, and the main's like, whoa, we can kiss, but we can't do anything else. We're not even dating.
So wholesome.
That is
so
sweet.
So, yeah, there is one that is obsessed with her brain, I guess, like, and how, like, she acts, like, how cute she is. Generally, like, I don't know. And then another one is obsessed with, I said...
You said smell?
Smell. Yeah, I'm missing smell. So, it's her roommate, right, is the smell one? Yeah.
She's my least favorite. Unpopular opinion, let us know in the comments, but...
I mean, I haven't read that, but anytime I see somebody sniffing someone else, and it's not like dating, and I just really like the smell of your sweatshirt, or it's just like, I'm coming up behind you, and I'm gonna smell your head, and we just met, like, that's creepy to me.
That's exactly what I told Valsarpator. You should not be sniffing without consent. No sniffing without consent.
I know we're like trash talking this person for like sniffing, and she does some other questionable things. However, I beg you to recall one of my favorite romance series, Sweat and Soap.
That's true.
Mad about it.
That's true.
So mad. Never forget. Always remember.
It's a very wholesome, in general, series. But this dude's obsessed with the way that she smells. The same way the roommate is obsessed with the way that she smells.
No.
How old are these people? You said something about
college.
school. Okay. That's slightly less creepy.
I will say that one of the love interests is her professor.
Power dynamic is icky.
We don't love
that. No. She's like, if it's her decision, it's her decision. But then she like is kind of like
she's
constantly
pushy.
Flirting and like really being like testing the limits and stuff. But she's like, no, it's your decision. I'm not gonna like. It's you. Please come to me. Please.
It's your
please love me.
decision, babe. Unless.
Yeah. So I read. There's 2 volumes out currently. I'm not sure when the third one comes out because I think the second one recently came out. Again, this is I don't know which is love. It's pretty wholesome. I mean, there's some making out and there's some fan service. I had someone recently ask me in the comments about this book, and Doki, I know you've read the first one at least, right?
Yeah, I'm 1.5 in.
Okay, and the person asked if this was written for men or for women. And I thought it was a very interesting question to ask.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting question to ask. Normally, I feel like when I read a manga, I know pretty immediately who it was written for.
Yeah.
This one, honestly, I could see it either. Like, I could see an argument being made either way.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of fan service. There is a lot of
spit.
There isn't as much consent throughout all of the characters as I would like to see, and I think a lot of women typically want to see in like what they're reading. However, holistically, I feel like it was written for, like, I feel like they tried to write it for a woman, but kept going back to very stereotypical male aimed harem manga and anime. They tried, and I think there are some spots where they've maybe missed the mark.
Yeah, like, it was written for women, but there are, like, elements where it's like, it's got the undertones that were like, oh, it's probably also...
But, I mean, you could argue, too. I mean, women want to see boobs, too, sometimes, you know?
They do. So that's the part where I struggled, where I'm like, okay, there's, like, a lot of, like, boobies, but, like, ladies like boobies, too.
I would say, holistically, as a woman, I did not read this and go, wow, this was clearly made for men. Which, a lot of Yuri I do read and watch and go, wow, this was fan service for men. And I don't get that vibe. I just think that they do fall into some tropes that I wish they would avoid and not do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good fair question, though, I think.
I thought that was a really interesting, because I had the exact same, as you processing, so I'm like, these are all thoughts that I had as well before I answered them. I was like, I think what I said was, it's written for women, but I think men would also enjoy it.
Yeah.
Appeals to both.
So that's kind of like how I responded on the spot, but I was interested in what you thought, and so.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool beans.
Yeah.
So, again, that one's I Don't Know Which Is Love, the all-female harem Yuri.
Woo!
Cool beans.
Cool beans.
Cool
All
beans.
right,
Cool.
Doki, you've got a third one teed up.
I have a third one teed up. You'll never believe it. There's a blonde. With dark hair. When I bought this one in the store, my fiance was like, you have a type. And I was like, no, you don't understand. They're all like this. I swear.
It's not me, it's the genre.
It really is, though.
It really kind of is, though. But this is Kiss the Scars of the Girls. This is another creepy one. I got another spooky one. Because that's kind of, I guess my aesthetic is cutie creepy.
Interesting.
This one's about vampires. Yeah.
Vampire GL?
Vampire GL. These are
that's
more
the one that you're doing the TikTok on. That's the one I've decided. That whatever your next one, that's that one.
So this one, I thought I was doing one on my drunken panic rambling to you about this monster wants to eat me. When I first told Valsarpator about it, I word vomited on her. I was so excited about it. It was probably terrifying to behold.
No, because I've modeled a lot of recent TikToks off of that method where I word vomit about a manga, and I'm like, this video is perfect. Everyone's going to, this is going to resonate with everyone.
It's great. To the press. Let's go.
This one's so good, though. So it's about vampire youths. We have Emile and we have Eve. And so basically they're in high school. Well, I guess middle school. They're 14. They're very young. This is a very, older teen because of gore, not because of spiciness, because they are youths. You'll never believe it's Yen Press.
Plot twist! I think all of ours, except for maybe, my first one, it was 7 C's. So I think
I Don't Know Which Is Love is
I
also
have one
Yen
7
Press.
C's as well.
That tracks.
So basically, the way this works, in the school, vampires, when they turn 14, can no longer, they transition from being able to eat, human food and need to feast on blood. So they're given a big sister, whom they room with, and it's a girl who's, a year or two older than. They're not, significantly older. They're also youth.
Kind of like a sorority sister concept.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just
my
someone
limited
who's
knowledge
supposed
of
to, teach them how things work. Teach them how things work and
which
walk them
frats
through
are
the
safe,
process.
what to do at parties.
How to beer pong.
Exactly.
Blood pong, excuse me. How to blood
pong. So Emile is your stereotypical she's so happy and bubbly, and she's I'm gonna get a big sister, my life's gonna be great. And then she's assigned to Eve, who has trauma. Eve has so much trauma, and I won't spoil it. I'll let Eve tell you herself why she's traumatized.
Do we need trigger warnings for this one as well, or
just
does she have
normal
specific trauma?
No,
a
just
vampire?
normal. If you don't like gore, and
Okay.
I mean mild gore, then don't read. But at least so far, there's only 2 volumes of this out in English so far, and I've read both, and there's nothing. You know what? I'm a liar. If you have issues with, I guess, kind of not domestic violence. That's not the word I'm looking for. Friends being very mean to friends.
Kind of bullying?
No. More like kidnappy type of bullying.
I think that's domestic violence.
Is it? Because I thought domestic was... Is that not spouse specific?
No, I
No,
don't
it's
think
domestic
so.
if it's like, if you're in the U.S. and, like, it's happening in the U.S.
I don't think they're in the
It's
U.S.
domestic.
in this. So, there's European violence. No, but there is some, like, harm and stuff like that in here.
Okay.
But there's no, like, at least as far as we are so far, there's no, like, essay warnings or anything.
Okay.
But basically, so she's given to Eve as the sister, and Eve's not mean. She just wants nothing to do with her. She's like, go get a different sister. I'm not your sister. I'm just this chick who shares a room with you. And then so they go out on their first hunt, and you'll never guess, things don't go as planned.
Dun dun dun.
Bom, bom, bom. And so the story kind of continues from there, right? So they continue to go on these hunts, and a bunch of bad things happen, but throughout the process, Eve and the meal start to forge a bond and get closer. But their relationship, I would not... Well, nothing spicy has happened, and I don't foresee anything spicy happening. I think it's going to be a pretty innocent read from that perspective. But their friendship... I'm just saying, I'm not friends with you guys this way. I definitely think it's pretty romantic, but it's a very slow burn, and is pretty creepy. But also very
history
creepy.
will call them best friends. Roommates even.
100. History will call them roommates.
The best of
100%. But
So
it's really, really cute. Very good.
I was
so
wondering
far.
if, like, when you said that she, like, wanted nothing to do with her, if it's one of those things where it's like she could tell that she liked her and she, like, wanted them to... Oh, okay.
Well, so kind of. So again, that feeds directly into Eve's trauma. But basically, it just has to do with Eve's experience having been a little sister before. And so it was, I think it's a lot more about her not wanting to get hurt, her not wanting other people to get hurt, trying to protect people by being cold and aloof kind of a vibe.
Would you say this is a good, like, transition manga for someone who wants to get into the genre? Like, it's got the gore, like, if you're into horror, if you're into, like, general manga, there's that aspect, but then also, hey, these two chicks, they might kiss.
I would say so far, yeah, this is a sports anime of Yuri, for sure. Sure.
The sport is being a vampire.
Honestly...
No, but, like, it's the same kind of vibe, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
at least so far, all of the romance is pretty understated. It's just a cool vampire story, and, these girls are very friendly, and, I don't talk to my friends like that, maybe. But, yeah, I would definitely say so.
I would definitely plant this at all of my local libraries.
Don't tempt
Infiltrating.
me. If you see me in a cape and the hood, both of them, I need both, and I'm just
Pretending to be a vampire.
Pretending to be a vampire, and I'm just leaving this manga around. I've dragged Valsarpator. She's my big sister. We're just leaving this
But
manga.
not like that. Not like
Not
that.
like that.
Not like that.
My fiance is listening. That's not what I meant, and you know it.
There is no secret kissing.
No, but yeah, no, it's really good so far. I'm very excited to see where it goes and how, like, we learn more about their backstories and stuff too, because we so far still know pretty minimal information.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Speaking of going to your public libraries and planting a bunch of manga, T, is your third pick also from your local public library?
It actually is. It is one of my hoopla picks. I have to hold my tablet kind of funky, so it doesn't, like, slam shut. This one's a Tokyo Pop, though. It's called Still Sick. So our girl, again, you know, you got the pink-haired girly with the dark-haired girly.
Classic.
Our dark-haired girly is an office worker, so we have adults.
Mm-hmm.
She is also... She writes, like, fan Yuri on the side. Ooh, that's making me really dark. Okay, so she writes fan Yuri on the side. Like, it's just her passion. It's her hobby. She's really into the genre. And while she's attending a, like, Yuri Comic-Con, or not a Yuri Comic-Con, but specifically just a, like, fan Comic-Con, pink-haired girl, who is one of her coworkers, shows up and is like, oh my god, what are you doing here? I was actually going to, like, a flower festival, and I got turned around. What is this? And our dark-haired girl is, like, panicking because she doesn't want anybody to know that she, A, writes fan comics, and B, that it's about women. So she tries to make something up. And at first, the pink-haired girl is, like, really sweet about it and kind of acting kind of dumb about it, honestly. And they kind of make this, like, weird friendship out of it. Yeah, and then you come to find out that the pink-haired one, like... I was just trying to be mean to you, and you're not understanding that I was being mean to you. So she found out that the dark-haired girl writes these comics, and she was, like, trying to show up to tease her. And it just never fazed her. And then she was like, wait. She eventually finds out that the girl was being mean to her because she is an ex-mangaka who was, like, this rising mangaka. And this guy at her company, like, put all this seeds of doubt in her head. And now she doesn't want to write manga anymore, and she's just pissed off at her coworker because she's doing this as a hobby and having fun. And so the dark-haired girl is like, look, A, that's not healthy, and B, we can work on that. Like, we can fix this. You should, like, she read some of her manga, and she's like, girl, this was really good. Like, why did you stop writing? So the rest of the first volume is them establishing, like, okay, we cleared the air, let's work on being friends, and now I'm going to help you get back into your manga career because you're really passionate about this. Like, you really wanted to do this as a career. Like, you may have to leave the company and we won't get to be friends anymore, but I want you to do the thing that you like. And the pink-haired girl's like, did I make a real friend? Shit. And, like,
I just wanted to be a bully.
I was just upset about my own personal flaws, and how dare you make me your friend, is basically what happens. So it kind of ends with them, like, clearing the air and establishing, like, okay, we're going to help each other. Like, the dark-haired girl, she wants to learn how to draw better. Like, she's kind of not confident in her skills. So in exchange, pink-haired girl's like, okay, I'm going to teach you my basics and how I got a good scrub. And so dark-haired girl is going to help her build confidence in herself again, and they kind of just start this, like, really funky friendship. Like, at first I was like, I don't like her. I don't know if I want to keep reading this, but the more I read it, I really liked them. Like, they grew on me, and it was kind of like an enemies to lovers thing that I'm picking up here, and I was like, I love drama. I'm gonna keep reading. This is toxic.
Like, she's so mean. Turns the page, like,
basically.
How could she?
Yeah, there's, like, one scene where their coworkers, like, the dark-haired girl, she dated one of the guys that works at their company, and she basically was like, yeah, I didn't date anybody before him, but we got along really well, so I thought that it would work out, and it didn't, but we're still friends, kind of deal. And he's like, I thought you were, like, making a friend other than me, and I was, like, really proud of you, and that, like, what happened between you two? And she's like, oh, we just had kind of a falling out, and her friend is like, you're gonna fix it. You need more friends. Do it right now. And the pink-haired girl's like, I don't want to actually be your friend, damn it. But in the end, they become friends reluctantly anyway.
It's giving Bakugo.
It is. I would die for this bully.
Not as, like, extreme as that, but it was definitely, like, halfway through the book, I'm like, do you really want to be friends? Because you're being a bitch. But at the end, it was turning a new leaf. So I can kind of see where there's no romance yet, obviously. We just became people who don't hate each other. But there is only 3 volumes. So I am definitely going to finish this, because why not? I mean, all of the ones that I said so far, I definitely want to keep reading.
The series is done and it's only 3 volumes?
Yeah, it's only 3 volumes. It was from 2018 to 2020.
Oh, this romance is way better than the one in My Hero.
So
they actually, still haven't shipped.
Might get together. It's listed as romance, so they have to get together. Yeah, but I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. Another, like I said, it's Tokyo Pop, and I don't know what the rating is on this one, because I can't check the back of the book, but...
Yen Press does a good job with, like, their LGBTQ, like, mangas and stuff, but Tokyopop goes so hard.
I have, like, a soft spot in my heart for Tokyopop, because that's one of the first, like... That's one of the OGs, so when they be given some good stuff, I'm like, I gotta give you your flowers.
Yen Press does, like, a lot of stuff, but when I see Tokyopop, I assume it's gay.
I meant to mention in the back of at least most of them, there were other recommendations for other manga, but specifically in this one from Seven Seas, it was like, hey, here's a bunch of, like, this manga was gay, here's more gay.
You've read this gay, you like gay, here's more gay.
Hey, here's a controversial take. I hate... Oh, God, which one was that? Hold on. Let me look it up. I don't want to misspeak, but there's one that I absolutely refuse to watch.
Please don't let it be something I love. Please don't let it be something I love.
I want to make sure I'm saying the right one, because... Yep, okay, it's Citrus. Hate Citrus.
Oh, I hate Citrus.
Hate! Hate!
I also hate Citrus.
Hate Citrus.
I've never seen T get so excited about anything.
Literally me either.
Hate. I go
it's upsetting.
Hate, double hate.
Yeah, basically.
Entirely.
That's how I felt. I was like, I was like, oh, Yuri, they look cute, and I started watching, and I was like, what in the fuck is happening? I'm upset for everyone.
I'm gonna be honest, I cannot personally, and you know, it probably doesn't help that my fiance has a step sibling, but anything that involves any type of sibling anything, I don't care if you just met. If you are now magically related, I can't get behind it. It gives me the ick.
Yeah, same. Like, I have an older brother, and we're 7 years apart, so it's not like he was a teenager and I was in elementary school, so we were on different planets. But I remember, like, he would tell me, like, oh, do you know this girl? Her name's this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, why? And he's like, my friend's interested in her. And I was like, back it up. That's like if he and I were dating, and he's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know the age. And I'm like, yeah, gross, right? So, like, I'm very icky about, like, sibling stuff. I don't like it. As a sibling.
We've had this conversation before with T. Anything like first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, like, we had this conversation with T before. Like, you said you hadn't seen her rage like she just did with Citrus. She was raging that one time too.
It's a fair thing to rage about. Like we've said, love who you love unless they're related to you. Then don't.
Love who you love with respectable boundaries.
Yeah, with healthy, good boundaries.
Hi, Valsarpator, what's your next in? Anyway, topic change, hardcore.
So I was, like, just, like, refreshing my memory on some more of the Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord. And in the second volume, she kind of, like, conquers her fear, because she's, like, worried that she abandoned her, the rest of her idol group. And she's like, I feel terrible, I left them, like, they're dealing with so much, like, crap because of me. Meanwhile, they're, like, worried about her. And so, like, they eventually, like, fix everything, and they go out to dinner, and they're, like, watching the landlord and the renter, like, interact, and they're, like, kind of, like, on the side, like, ooh, you know what I mean? And then the girl, she's so sweet and, like, pure, like, hold on, I'm going to show you her face. It's, like, this is her face. Like, constantly. She's precious gem, right?
And that's the idol, right?
That's the idol. And then she turns on and she's like, what you guys talking about? Like, and they're like, oh, we're just saying, you must really like Suga-san. And she goes, like her? And then she's like, yeah, I like you, Oni-san. And then the renter goes, of course I like you too, Landlord-san. Because she calls her Landlord-san throughout the whole thing. Like, that's what she refers to her. It's so precious. And she's like, oh yeah, I like you too, Landlord-san. Precious. And then all of the other girls are like, wait, did they just confess that they like each other? What's going on? And then they're like, oh, you know, whatever, finishing up, time to, you know, leave. And then they're like, so what was that about? And that's how it ends. That's how the second one ends. Where I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Is the romance gonna happen now? Is there gonna be romance now?
What do you mean?
I'm placing my bet. No, they meant as friends. Mm-hmm. The romance does not begin now.
No.
We like each other.
Is this how you greet your friends when they come back home? Look at this face.
Welcome back.
She's blushing.
No, I don't think I've ever blushed when you've showed up at my house.
No. Nope. So...
I might blush if T did, just because where'd you get my address, T?
Yeah, like...
How'd you find me?
I flew halfway across the country in secret.
I blush for that.
Yeah, that's fair. Blush for that, too.
Yeah.
Let me just plan a surprise trip to your guys' neighborhoods.
Well, we still like close, and now we're like, now we live far. We live 30 minutes away, unless there's traffic, then there's more. But now we're like, oh, it's so far.
That is really how it's pretty. Well, it's more like 40 minutes away, but
yeah, realistically,
I mean that makes a difference. We really are so ridiculous about it.
You still live in like completely different states.
We don't know how. We don't know how we did it for so long. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense.
I don't understand how I ever existed before being able to run to your house to do things.
Literally anything, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Now you live too far away. You're basically in another state.
So I told you guys 2 to 3, so I only prepped 2. Yeah.
Oh, I have one more that I can rant about because I did not like it.
Bonus round
that I did not like, which apparently I'm like one of the only people who did not like this. Like, I looked it up on Goodreads, and I was like, I'm generously, I wanted to give it a 2.5, and that's not, you can't do that on Goodreads. I gave it a 3, and it had like almost a 4-star rating on Goodreads, and I was like, is it me? Am I the problem?
Tea with the tea. Let's hear it.
Yeah, for real. So this one, I don't know how to
What's the publisher?
Oh, it's Tokyo Pop. It is Tokyo Pop. Okay. Why did you just do that?
Those can be dicey.
So it's called Yuri SBR. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Okay, I've seen that one.
Again, our main characters are the 2 in the middle, black hair, pink hair.
Are these the ones with the black hair and the pink hair? Are those be the main characters?
Well, also, there's these 2 up here that also have black hair and pinkish blonde hair, and then these 2 down here that are not of the Yuri usual caliber. So I did like her. I love her hair a lot. Yeah. It makes me think of Chi from Chobits, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Chobits forever and always. So, the girl with the pink hair, she finds out that after high school, and she's in her senior year, after high school, she has to get married to a man who is like her dad. Full stop. Ew, she has to get married to a man.
Gross. I see why you hated it.
She has to get married
to
a man who is like, I can't remember if he's a rival or he's a part of her dad's company. So this girl is like not even 18 yet and has to marry what sounds like a mid-20s man.
Ew.
Gross.
And so she goes to her best friend, who is the girl with the black hair, and is like, look, I've always wanted to have a relationship with a woman. I've never had the chance to do that. They're both an art club. I'm going to draw basically like a Yuri collection to look at when I'm married to this man and I'm depressed, and I can go back and look at these pictures and pretend I'm not married to a man. So go out in public. And she just looks at different girls that are out in public together, like, you and I could be sitting on a bench reading a book together, and she's like, they're banging. And just draws them in her notebook, and she makes up this whole backstory. And this part I thought was funny, because she makes up a whole backstory about them, and they kind of, like, play it out. And then you actually get to see these characters and see who they really are. Like, it will follow them, and you get to learn their actual stories, which was really interesting.
Okay.
The part that I don't like is the creepy future husband is just like, the whole situation with that is gross. It's very overbearing, and you can tell this girl is like disgusted by this man and is terrified to actually have to go through with this. Her best friend has a secret shrine to her in her house. At one point, the girl, like the best friend, wakes up on the floor after having a nightmare of the husband abusing her friend. And the best friend wakes up, and you see this room that she's in is covered with pictures of the pink-haired girl that she drew herself. The walls are covered with them.
And she's like, both an art club. Okay, yep.
Yeah,
They're
both in the art club. And she's like, I have to do everything in my power to make sure her last days are wonderful. Creepy.
How mad would you be if I said I want to read this?
It gets... I feel like I need to read maybe the second volume to, like, kind of make up for it. I don't know. Maybe I was just jumping to conclusions. But, like, then their art teacher, their, like, supervisor, not necessarily their teacher, he has this weird, what is it? Not vibe. There's, like, rumors about him trying to date girls in the school.
The rumor has it.
So he's like, hey guys, we're going on an art club field trip. Whoop, whoop. And they're like, you never come hang out with us. Like, you are our supervisor in name only. And he's like, no, we're going to go to this thing. It's going to be great. And the whole time, the black-haired best friend is like, he's flirting with Pinky. Come to find out, like, he leaves to answer a phone call, comes back, picks up the girls, takes them both to their houses. And on the drive back to black-haired girl's house, like, they already dropped off Pinky, you come to find out he is in love with her fiance. And he's like, hey,
no, wait, hold on, you're supposed to be making this, like, you're supposed to be making us not want to read this.
Wait, I'm gonna tell you why it's weird. He is in love with her fiance, and he wants to use the black-haired girl to find out as much as he can about Pinky so he can tell the fiance what to buy her, what to do for her to make her like him. He's like, if my man, who I'm in love with, has to marry this chick, then I guess I'll make him happy about it. And she's like, ew, he's gross and he's mean. And, like, he's like, no, he's not. He's not like that at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're right. This sounds so bad. I should read it so we can talk about how much we hate it together.
You can tell that he's, like, it's so confusing. It's so conflicting with, like, what they're trying to present. I think that's what I was just getting whiplash, I think, with how, like, 1 minute it's, like, very much a story of potential abuse and, like, depression and being forced to be somebody that you're not. And then the next minute it's like, look at these two cute girls. They're hanging out. I'm going to make up a whole love story about them. Like, it was just, like, the back and forth, I think, was off-putting to me.
That's fair.
But like I said, I loved the side stories. I thought that was so cute. She's, like, drawing in her little notebook about these other girls, like, their lives and things like that. And it's just so precious. And I'm trying to find, like, a picture that I can show you guys of this happening. So this is how they portray the creepy fiancé, by the way. And then sometimes he'll have, like, this horrifying, like, Joker-esque smile. Like, you never actually see.
Is that their is that how they're perceiving him?
Yeah, that's how they're perceiving him. I'm trying to find, where is it?
I wonder if this is going to be one of those stories where, like, as the volumes go on, it's all just, like, this really weird, like, all these misunderstandings.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
And all's well that ends well, and that's the kind of vibe I get from it.
Right, because, like, maybe the teacher guy is just, like, creepy because he's also gay and in love with their teacher, and he's, like, mad that he has to, like, marry this girl, and now the girl, like, you know what I mean?
Wait, here, this was also the creepy thing. So, at the very end, the teacher and the black-haired girl meet up to, like, kind of talk about the whole scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, goofs up what he says. So he calls the fiancé. And Bianchi. So the way he, like, the way this adult man describes this child was gross to me.
Mm-hmm.
She's graceful and sensible. But should you mistake her for being meek, she picks you like a rose with thorns. Her heart is more beautiful than any woman I know. So she is fine the way she is.
It's giving Shigure.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where it's like, is he just, like, saying those things because it's, like, one, he's got to say something nice, right?
Right.
But, like, two, because he's not into her, he's just, like, saying, like, she has a good heart. She's strong-willed. Like... Yeah. You know what I mean?
I feel like I need to read Volume 2 before I write it off entirely.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
But Volume 1, I was just like, ugh. Oh, but the plot twist, there was an excellent little plot twist at the end of the first volume, like the very end.
T like is pretending to hate this, but she actually.
I know them, but I'm like, did I actually hate this? Did I actually not like this?
She's like gassing it up. She's like, "This is terrible." Gassing it up, like, "No, wait, I'm going to tell you the bad part." And she's like,
I'm like gaslighting myself into liking this, I think.
So bad. I'm buying or I'm gonna borrow volume 2 though, just to make sure I hate it as much as I know I do.
I know, right? So, plot twist / spoiler warning if nobody wants to hear it. At the very end, another female classmate of theirs confesses to Pinky, who is like, "I've always wanted to have a relationship with a girl." This girl comes out of the woodwork and is like, "I think you're really cute and I want to date you." And Bestie hears this and look at her face.
I'm reading this immediately.
No, I want to read this. Out of everything we've talked about, you've sold me on this one the most. This is the one I'm reading next.
This is the one that I text you, Valsarpator, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. I'm kind of upset about it.
She literally messaged me and was like, "I'm really excited because, like, I didn't love all of my manga recs, like, so I have one that I don't like that I'm going to talk about how I didn't like it." And I was like, okay,
the one that it's in my cart right now.
Apparently, I guess I don't know. I need to read volume 2.
Mixed feelings.
But I think volume 2 is on Hoopla. That's where I read this. I read it on Hoopla.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm.
And it is currently 4 volumes. And, ooh, that's not a good time. So it's 4 volumes. It says that it's ongoing, but the last Japanese release was in 2022. And the last English. I am reading and talking at the same time, forgive me. The last English release was in 2023. So it's been a minute since any volumes have been coming out.
Yikes, so if it is ongoing, don't get, like...
don't get your hopes up too much.
Yeah.
So hope that you hate it.
I can't imagine them wrapping this up in 4 volumes anyway, because there's, like, 8 different, like, love paths that they're, like, exploring in this thing.
What is this? Oh, okay, so this is one of the ones that is marketed towards young adult men. So maybe that's why I was not vibing with it that much.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I learned this one. I learned something I've never heard before. Apparently, in some Yuri manga, like, you know how in at least in America, people will call somebody that they're like in a sexual relationship with, like, daddy or mommy. Yeah, they will call in some Yuri manga. Apparently, they'll say like Oni-san. And I haven't seen that before. But, like, the pink-haired girl was explaining that to the dark-haired girl, and I was like, really? I've never seen that in my life.
That's pretty common. That's in quite a bit of Yuri manga. I'm pretty sure it's in one of Val's.
But this one, she was just like, "I like you, Oni-san, but it's the pure, innocent, sweet girl."
Yeah. The way she was describing it, it sounded more of, like, a sexual... Like, you know,
it's like,
oh, daddy.
Oni-san versus Oni-san.
Yeah. It sounded like that to me.
Okay. Well, I'm reading T's recommendation, actually. The last one, that's the one I'm reading next, for sure.
Apparently, I'm reading it, too.
Tune in next time.
The next time, we all just need to sit down and dissect this. We're going to have, like, not a book club, but we're going to have, like, a lecture series.
He's going to be wearing a hat that says, "I was wrong."
Yeah, I'm going to wear the dunce hat.
I'll make the PowerPoint.
I'll wear, like, my teacher get up, wear my black frame glasses and be like, "All right, class, I fucked up."
Nope, that's for the Patreon.
Why?
We didn't even talk about putting anyone's feet on the Patreon this time, so we're in the clear.
If you join now, we'll say uwu in various tones.
No, it's Oni-san. Oh my god, you don't do that for free?
That's only a taste.
Leave that out.
I'm gonna have to leave that out for sure. Those are for paid subscribers only. We
do not have a Patreon. Legal disclosure, please do not go look for it. Yet. Unless.
No.
Alright, well, I think... Are you good, Doki?
Never mind.
I was going to leave this on another plug for go to your public library. So again, manga's expensive and but it is accessible. And all you have to do is head over to your local public library. If you've got a smartphone, you can even access your local public library from your phones. So if transportation is an issue, you can still access all of these medias and continue to use these medias as well at your local public libraries, because it means they're even more accessible to other folks that don't have the means to purchase manga like some other folks. So with that,
speaking of, not to cut you off, but on the receipts from my library when I check out a book, it actually tells you how much you saved by going to the library instead of purchasing it. So cool. I got She Loves to Eat from the library, and it says that I saved $11.67 by using my public library.
Should we have like a running total like on our TikTok that says like we have saved this much money by using our local public library?
I've always wanted to do that, but the only problem is it does not count like your Libby or any digitals. I think at the end of the year, I can look and see like how much I saved with physical copies, or I could at least go back and look at the receipts, but I've never seen any digitals taken into account on there. I feel like I'd have to go on to Amazon or like check my local bookstore and see what they're selling them for and then make a spreadsheet for it.
I mean, I don't think that'd be too hard to do, since colored manga and non-colored manga are pretty much always the same price.
Yeah, let me check the back.
Just going off of these three, they're all $13, $12.99.
This one was $15.
This is 15.
God, 13.
Doki is throwing books.
These manga are flying off the shelves at a library near you.
That's interesting. So on the back of this it says 15, but on my receipt it says you saved $11.67.
Oh, they must have got that during the Crunchyroll sale.
Yeah, maybe. And then this one was this is $13.99.
Yeah.
It's weird looking at like my older manga from when I was a kid, and it's like this was less than $10.
Back in my day.
Back in my day when I was a youth going to the Barnes and Noble reading my quarter. So, cute little tea fun fact. My grandpa couldn't distinguish between like a real book and a manga. He just knew I was reading. And he was like, we're going to buy all the books you want, kid. So I would literally just walk up to him with a stack of Sailor Moon manga and be like, can I get these? And he's like, hell yeah, you can. And I would follow him around the mall just reading these manga. So I have like first run Sailor Moon manga from when I was a wee bab that my grandfather fully stocked for me.
Unpopular opinion, for children, I don't see the issue.
No, it's not. As a teacher, it's not an issue at all.
I buy my son manga all the time, and it made a huge improvement to his reading because he was learning bigger words, and he was just reading. Full stop.
Yep.
We got him to read. So,
yeah.
I don't see the issue at all.
Now, as when I was teaching, I was like, if you read, I'm happy. If you bring me a book and you're like, I read this, and I can ask you questions and you can answer them, that's all I want to know. Like,
that's been my mindset too. Libraries and
manga and comics, whatever.
Take your kids to libraries and let them read age-appropriate manga.
Age-appropriate.
Please read their manga. Just because the character is cute on the outside doesn't mean it isn't full of boobies.
Oh my gosh, I recently read a trauma read because it was cute on the outside, but that is a topic for another podcast episode. So thanks everyone for joining in today on Live. We are Girls, Gays, Animes, emphasis on the gays, and we are posting podcasts every other Monday on all of your local podcast platforms, including the YouTubes. Check us out on Instagram as well as TikTok. We out.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.